Okay, let's get into it. Hi, my name's Tam. Welcome back. If it's your first time here, welcome back because you're gonna come back, and welcome back if it's your first time here because I know you. I'm joking. Mm, but thank you for being here. So I'm gonna do a comparison video between lovely Velcro, huh? Between the Everlast Elite. I love this one. And these Chayil gloves. I'll start off with this one. I've had these 10 years. Out of those 10 years, I'll say 3 to 4 of them I was active, and not as active as someone who wants to be a fighter would be, or someone who wants to be a fighter should be. So if someone wants to be a fighter, they're probably going to the gym 5 days a week minimum, especially if they can. To be fair, I did get these when I was like a teenager and I couldn't drive around. But I will right off rip say, if you are someone who is training in terms of being a fighter and training often and training hard, I don't think these are your best bet. I think over time they will kind of just go away. Because like the wrist support's not the best. I am gonna say that I am gonna try and remind you. Disclaimer: these are 10 years old, even though I was only active 4 of those 10 years. So keep that in mind when I'm comparing this to you. When I'm comparing these gloves to you. So wrist support. Look at that. Huh? Look at that. Look at that. Shape is really nice. It's kind of cute. This is what, you know, this is what they put on the websites where they have boxing as a category and they have a logo. It looks like this. It looks exactly like this. Feel inside, depending on what kind of person you are, the inside is, it doesn't really, how to say, it doesn't grip you, and that will make sense when I bring out the Everlast. But the inside doesn't hold you as much as you'd like it to, and we've already established wrist support is kind of out the window. What I will say is I enjoyed these a lot because of the padding here. Like the padding here is quite, you know, the padding, especially here in this front section where your knuckles are, seems to be quite thick. Inside, the material has worn out, and I started boxing, let's say maybe 3 or 4 months ago. The material just started coming apart because of how active I was. Like I said, take into account there's still some other time before, but I didn't use them as much as they could have been used to work and at the rate I like to work at. They did start coming apart a little bit. I was gonna stick with them, honestly, but then I got these as a gift. But anyway, I was gonna stick with them. The inside's coming apart. The material doesn't feel as nice. It doesn't really hold you inside. It doesn't hold you. It doesn't care for you. It doesn't. And the wrist support is shot. But if you do just need some gloves to, let's say you're someone who trains, let's say 3 times a week. Let's say you don't want to do boxing as a sport or a competition or anything like that. I still wouldn't fully recommend these, but they were like, if I remember correctly, they were like 500 Rand. So that would probably be, let's say $35, 30 pounds or 40 pounds. So, hey, usable nonetheless is what I'm trying to say here. These guys sponsor Connor Ben, Terrence Crawford, Alicia Baumgartner, me. I'm joking about that last one. But this, on the other hand, the Everlast Elite. Now this right here, I've been enjoying. The only thing I will say that these 14-ounce gloves might kind of have over these ones. I actually love these both, even though this may not be the best. But might not have like that, might have over these ones is, like I said, this padding here feels very thick. You know, you can tell even by the way I'm grabbing it. There's a lot there. And it's a 14-ounce glove. This 16-ounce. You know, the padding's kind of distributed throughout, but these are my 16-ounce sparring gloves. I bought them as 16-ounce. As you look. Yeah. So, one thing I will say is when I started wearing these, I actually don't need to have my earphones on. One thing I will say is when I started wearing these, my hands were a little uncomfortable initially. And I think it may be because of the way these are designed. Because of the thumb placement, wrist, and also just the sheer amount of support that's in here compared to this one was outstanding to me. My hand couldn't take it for a second. It was like I put it on. Hear that Velcro. Like I had put it on here. There we go. I remember though when I got them, I put them on. I put it on this hand initially. That took way too long to get that sentence out. But I had put it on this hand initially, and my wrist kind of hurt for a second. But that's because I didn't have the best punching technique with. You know, during my previous session, I didn't have the best punching technique with these on, and my hand kind of, you know, my wrist kind of, so it hurt. But these, I will be honest, have a feeling and a design to them that feels, I'm going to use the word ergonomic, but again, it is a boxing glove, so I guess ergonomic for boxing in a sense, as in your thumb placement is kind of, they're forcing you to go, this is where your thumb should go when you've got these on. You know, this is where your thumb should go. This is, you know, with this, especially like, this wrist support is insane. Let me show you actually. Velcro. This wrist support is insane, you know? And I'm not going to be one of those biased people, you know, who say, oh, this is the thing I like more, and this is the thing I don't like more, so let me be nice to this thing. No, look at this. You know? I have to kind of force it. Yeah, that's where my wrist goes. I have to kind of force it, you know, where to do that. And if it's just, you know, I don't have to force it as much, then it's really good. Also, there's more padding inside, so that's what I meant by this holds you. This has more of a tight feeling inside. It feels like it's designed to keep your wrist and your thumb and your knuckles and everything safe, is what I'm trying to say when it comes to this one. What else do I like about these? Oh, truck. On Sunday. The craftsmanship on these is just far better than this. That's another thing I like about these. They look like they're built to last, and I've been enjoying them. What else can I say about these beauties? Huh? I can't think of anything else. The inside is tight. The when I punch people, it feels good. There's a good response. When I punch the bag, my wrist and my just my hand feels very supported by this thing, and I think uh, that's been a big thing for me in using these. The quality difference is insane. Like, even if these were brand new, this would still be better anyway. So I don't want you to be like, oh, you hater of your new, you hater because you got new stuff. No, this is even this would just be better because of the craftsmanship, the quality, and everything in it. Anyway, I hope you have a good day, uh, a lovely night, and a lovely life, and everything else. I'll see you. Goodbye.